In the quiet town of Ridgewater, Pennsylvania, 17-year-old Ashley Peters was found murdered in the dense woods near her home in 2013. It was a brutal scene. Her body was discovered 3 days after she was reported missing, lying on a bed of leaves, arms crossed neatly over her chest, eyes wide open. Her phone was gone. There were no signs of struggle, no DNA, no fingerprints. The police had no suspects. Her case captured local headlines, but interest quickly faded when no lead surfaced. Ashley was buried, the file was archived, and Ridgewater moved on. That is, until a decade later. True crime podcaster Mara Kell reignited the story. Her podcast, Chalk Outline, had grown from a niche passion project into a viral sensation. By her third season, Mara had tens of thousands of loyal listeners, many drawn to her emotional storytelling and relentless pursuit of the truth. She spent over a year reinvestigating the Ashley Peters case, unearthing new witnesses, combing through old police records, and talking to those who had long since stopped answering questions. Her final season was dedicated entirely to the murder. And just as she was about to release the final episode, the one where she promised to reveal Ashley's killer, Mara disappeared. The teaser for the final episode dropped on a Monday. In it, Mara's voice was calm but urgent. Mara said, "You're going to want to listen closely to what I say next. Because once this goes live, someone will come looking for me. I've triple-checked everything. The evidence is real. The killer is someone no one ever suspected. Someone close to Ashley. And someone who thought they got away with it." After she said this, her fans went into a frenzy. Theories exploded online. Reddit threads lit up. TikTok speculated about suspects. But 2 days later, the excitement turned to fear. Mara stopped responding to texts. She missed an interview. Her producer tried calling, no answer. When police entered Mara's apartment, they found no signs of forced entry. Her keys and purse were still there. Her car was in the garage. The only thing missing? Her laptop and phone. Then a strange discovery. Inside her fridge, taped to the top shelf in an unmarked envelope, was a flash drive. On it was a folder labeled, "If I Vanish." It contained a nearly complete version of her final podcast episode. In the audio file, Mara sounds composed but deeply emotional. She talks about sleepless nights, about how close she came to deleting everything. She says, "This is the hardest episode I've ever had to record. Because the truth isn't just disturbing, it's personal." And then, near the end, a chilling moment. She said, "I have one last thing to say. The name of the person who killed Ashley Peters is..." There's a pause. A door creaks. Her breath hitches. And that was the last thing that was heard from her. The release of the flash drive audio sent shockwaves through the true crime world. Fans, amateur sleuths, and even former law enforcement officers began combing through every detail Mara had ever published. Her episodes were dissected for hidden messages. Sound engineers enhanced background noise from her recordings. Someone claimed to hear a faint male voice whispering her name right before the static. Another claimed she was being followed in episode 7, where she reported feeling uneasy while interviewing a former classmate of Ashley's. Police reopened both the Ashley Peters case and opened a new one into Mara's disappearance. They interviewed those closest to her, including her estranged family, former romantic partners, and podcast guests. But leads were scarce. Then came the break. A week after Mara's disappearance, her phone pinged at a rest stop 43 miles from her apartment. Surveillance footage showed no sign of her, but her car had never left her home. Someone had taken the phone. Online speculation intensified. Was she abducted by the killer? Was it someone trying to silence her? Or had she staged her disappearance to avoid retaliation? 3 weeks after Mara went missing, her producer received an anonymous email from a burner address. Attached was a second audio file. It was the completed final episode. In it, Mara finally reveals the name. She said, "It was Darren. Darren Kell. My brother." Mara explains that her older brother Darren had been Ashley Peters' private math tutor in her junior year. They had developed a secret friendship, possibly more. Ashley, in a series of emails Mara uncovered, had threatened to expose Darren's romantic relationship with a teacher at Ridgewater High. She had leverage. She knew about them both. In one message to a friend, Ashley wrote, "He's a manipulator. A liar. I don't care if it ruins him. He deserves it." Mara recounted a drunken conversation with Darren years ago. He'd confessed to doing something terrible. She thought it was just guilt or exaggeration. But the emails, coupled with suppressed school records and an old voicemail, painted a horrifying picture. Darren had lured Ashley into the woods to confront her. Things escalated. She died. "I didn't want to believe it," Mara says through tears. "I loved my brother. But the truth doesn't care who you love. He killed her. And now, he knows I know." Police obtained a warrant and searched Darren Kell's home. In his garage freezer they found Mara's phone, crushed. Her laptop, wiped clean, was buried in a tote bag in his attic. Darren was arrested on charges related to Ashley Peters' murder. He maintained his innocence, refused to speak in court, and never mentioned Mara's name. The trial lasted 6 weeks. The prosecution presented digital evidence recovered from Ashley's cloud backups, testimony from Mara's podcast research, and fragments of the final episode. The jury deliberated for just under 5 hours. Darren Kell was found guilty of the murder of Ashley Peters. But Mara Kell remains missing. Despite a massive search, no trace of her body was ever found. Some believe Darren killed her in a panic. Others think she may still be alive and hiding. Her final words have become legend. She said, "I thought telling the truth would be the end. I didn't know it would be the beginning of another mystery." Chalk Outline is now archived online, with its final season drawing in millions of listeners. Fans still search for clues in her recordings. Audio experts continue to analyze the static, the door creaks, the possible footsteps. But one thing is clear. Mara Kell did what few ever do. She solved a murder that had gone cold for 10 years. And in doing so, she may have sacrificed her own life. Her voice may have gone silent, but her story and Ashley's will never be forgotten.